Warning, this story is 100% real and from the dark web. Watch at your own risk. They say the internet can be a scary place. You never know who you'll encounter or what you might see. But did you know that there's a part of the web that's even scarier than the rest? A place where the worst parts of humanity come to hide, and where you could find anything from stolen credit cards to illegal weapons, to things that are so vile and disturbing they shouldn't even exist. They call it the dark web, and it's hiding a lot of secrets. Today, we're going to dive deep into one of the scariest stories ever found on the dark web. A story that will make you question the very nature of humanity and leave you wondering if there really are some things that are best left unknown. So turn off the lights, lock the door, and prepare yourself for a journey into the darkest depths of the internet, because today we're going to tell you the story of Peter Scully, one of the most terrifying men to have ever existed. The year was 2016, when suddenly something popped up on the screen of a computer in an unnamed country. It was a chat message, and it read, "Where can I find the most abused children?" And whoever was on the other side of that message wanted to know because he wanted to abuse them himself. He wanted to do unspeakable things to innocent children. That's why he asked that question. But he didn't get an answer. Instead, he got a link. That link took him to a website where he could purchase one of the most horrifying things imaginable, child abuse videos. And what makes this all even more disgusting is that these weren't just any child abuse videos. These were videos of a man named Peter Scully committing the most heinous acts against little girls. Acts that would shock even the most hardened viewers and leave them questioning the very nature of humanity. These videos spread like wildfire across the dark corners of the internet. People were shocked, disgusted, and horrified by what they were seeing. They had stumbled upon something truly evil. But how did these videos come to light, and who was the man behind all of it? Well, let me tell you, his name was Peter Scully, and he was one of the most terrifying figures to ever grace the internet. Let's start at the beginning. Peter Scully was born in Ireland in 1954, but that's about all we know about his early life. There are no records of his childhood or his family. It's as if he just appeared out of nowhere. All we know is that he moved to Australia in the 1990s and started working as a businessman. But behind closed doors, he was doing things that would make your blood run cold. He was using his connections and his wealth to traffic young girls, and then recording himself as he abused them in the most unimaginable ways. He was living a double life, and the world was none the wiser. For years, he managed to evade the authorities and get away with his horrific crimes, but eventually his luck ran out. You see, as the videos spread across the dark web, someone saw them and reported them to the police. What happened next was a massive investigation that spanned multiple countries and continents. The police were determined to find Peter Scully and bring him to justice, but it wasn't easy. He had covered his tracks well, and he wasn't making it easy for them. He kept changing his IP address and his location, making it difficult for the authorities to track him down. But eventually they got a break. They traced one of the videos back to an internet cafe in Cambodia, and they caught a man who had been watching the videos. He told them that he'd bought them from a man named Peter Scully, and that was all they needed. It wasn't long before the police had tracked down Peter Scully and arrested him. He was taken to court, and the evidence against him was overwhelming. The judge had no choice but to find him guilty, and he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Finally, justice had been served, or had it. As it turns out, there was much more to the story than anyone had imagined. When Peter Scully was arrested, the police searched his home and his computers. What they found was so disturbing that it would haunt their nightmares for years to come. He had a vast collection of images and videos of him abusing young girls, some as young as 2 years old. And the level of abuse was beyond anything the police had ever seen before. It was so bad that many of the officers threw up on the floor and had to take time off work to recover. Some even suffered from PTSD as a result of what they had seen. But it didn't stop there. The police also found evidence that Peter Scully had been working with a network of other pedophiles and child traffickers. He had been part of a ring that had been preying on innocent children for years, and he was just the tip of the iceberg. As the trial went on, more and more details came to light. It was revealed that Peter Scully had been using his wealth and power to bribe officials and get away with his crimes. He had been operating for years and had gotten away with it because people were afraid of him. But now the truth was out and the world was horrified. What happened to Peter Scully after his arrest is even more chilling. As he sat in his jail cell awaiting his trial, Scully seemed to show no remorse for his actions. He sat there with a blank expression on his face, as if he wasn't even human. It was clear that something was wrong with him, and that he was a danger to society. But what was shocking was what happened next. During his trial, Scully's lawyers argued that he was insane and not responsible for his actions. They presented evidence that Scully had a history of mental illness and that he had been taking medication for depression and anxiety. But the judge was not convinced. He found Scully guilty and sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But it wasn't over yet. Scully's lawyers appealed the verdict, arguing that the evidence was not strong enough to convict him. They said that the images and videos found on Scully's computer were not enough to prove that he had actually abused the children. But the appeal was denied, and Scully was sent to prison. And here's the most terrifying part. To this day, no one knows what happened to Peter Scully or where he is being held. Some say that he is still in prison, but others say that he was released and is living under a new identity. The truth is, no one knows, and that's what makes this story the stuff of nightmares. Peter Scully is a reminder that evil still exists in our world, and that there are some things that are better left unknown. The thought of a man being able to exploit and abuse children to such a horrific degree is truly disturbing. And the fact that he was able to do it for so long without being caught shows just how dark our world can be. So if you ever find yourself browsing the dark web, be careful what you click on, because you never know what kind of horrors you might unleash. We may never know the full extent of Peter Scully's crimes or what really happened to him. But one thing is for sure. His story is a chilling reminder of the evil that still lurks in our world. If you want to know more about the dark web, stay tuned for more stories. Thanks for watching. Now we all go to the internet for different reasons. Some people to shop online, some people to learn new things, and some people to just kill time. But did you know that there are some things on the internet that we just don't want to see? Things that can make us question the very nature of humanity and leave us wondering if there really are some things that are best left unknown. These are the things that lurk in the darkest corners of the web, waiting to be discovered by those who dare to look. And it's these things that we explore in our channel. We dive deep into the darkest depths of the internet to bring you the most terrifying and disturbing stories that have ever been found online. Our team of researchers and writers scour the web for the most horrifying and disturbing content that will make your blood run cold and leave you questioning the very nature of reality. We cover everything from creepypastas and urban legends to real-life horror stories and unsolved mysteries. Our goal is to give you a front-row seat to the most terrifying things that the internet has to offer. We believe that there are some things that are just too scary to be ignored, and that we should shine a light on the darkest corners of the web. So if you're looking for a channel that will take you on a journey into the darkest depths of the internet, then look no further. Join us now and get ready to experience the most terrifying things that the internet has to offer.